I've got a bunch of questions, but there's one I just want to address right away because it's sort of smacking me in the face of like I've jumped way ahead for many people, maybe at even the major shareholders, because maybe they haven't heard about this. So let me address this first. Go ahead. Yeah, so watch the pizza video. I think that's the best example. So you had a situation where the investors own 3/4 of the company, the employees, such as those in the option plan, and this might be you if you're watching this. I noticed that there's many more views of these videos than there are major shareholders that I've sent the link to. So I suspect maybe some other shareholders are watching. I hope non-shareholders are not watching, but I don't know. So if you were in the option plan, you were here in the ordinary shares, and then the preferred share, and then you had the preferred shares where you had the British government, Generation Investment Management, which is Al Gore's investment firm, and the royal family of Liechtenstein, and several other many other investors. So the company in 2019 had basically given away this much of the company to employees, but at the time they were bringing on a huge layer of sort of foreigners, either working remotely, London and other places, or expats living in Africa. And these people were demanding more shares because these are the type of people who, basically want ownership in the company, companies in which they work. And so what should have happened is the dilution for the creation of those shares should have affected ordinary shareholders and preferred shareholders equally. But what they did was they gave away the ordinary shareholders piece to these new foreign North American and European employees, instead of diluting everybody proportionally. And it wasn't legal what they did. So that's what I've been challenging for the last few years, and have had active kind of a legal dispute between my lawyers and theirs in the UK and also in Kenya, especially around my information rights for the last while. So that's the core of it. Watch the pizza video. What happened in Wambui is what happened to the ordinary shareholders. So that's the basics of it. The tender offer is basically what they're offering now, I believe, to try to solve this problem. But what they're doing is they're screwing up because they're actually increasing kind of the tangledness of this kind of web of sort of problems that they've created, of unapproved actions. Because the ordinary shareholders needed to approve this if they were going to be disproportionate dilution, and they weren't. They did not approve it, unfortunately. Other people, Europeans and North Americans, approved it on their behalf. Shouldn't have happened. So the tender offer now is their attempt to solve it cheaply and pushing the costs onto Sumitomo rather than British International Investment and Generation Investment Management, who are the beneficiaries of the illegal actions. It's not going to work. It's going to increase the problem. They're probably going to have a lawsuit of Sumitomo against BII and Generation because they'll realize that they basically had to pay for the sins of the British government. So they're also withholding information. They're also telling the shareholders that they can't speak to each other, which is just not something. I don't think they would do this if they're talking to the growth shareholders of European and North American kind of heritage, because they know they're speaking to the Kenyan and Ugandan shareholders, and they think they can bully them into not getting advice from other shareholders, which they're all welcome to do. So that's the main problem we have right now. So I'm trying to stop this tender offer. The price is wrong, ridiculously wrong, and the way that they're doing it by withholding information and trying to keep people and bully people not into talking is just not going to stand. They're also actively lying to some of the shareholders, which I think I can demonstrate in a later video, but hold that thought. That's the basics of the dispute and the tender offer. I hope that helps. Submit more questions if you have them.